as you can see from the screen, we have the balance queue, where the balance queue is in the balance state. On the right-hand side of the balance queue, we have 5 identical objects with the same weight, which is 1 kilogram each. We can conclude there are a total of 5 kilograms on the right-hand side. Whereas on the left-hand side, we have 1 kilogram, and on top of that, there's another 2 identical objects with the same weight, but we have yet to figure out the actual weight of these 2 objects. That's why we put an unknown x for both of these objects. So when we were to conclude the total weight on the left-hand side, since there are 2x and there's extra 1 kg, we can write it out as 2x plus 1 kilogram. If you have a look on the balance scale, it is balanced. So we can say that the total weight on the left hand side and the total weight on the right hand side, there should be equal since it's balanced states. So we can ignore the unknown. So we can form an algebraic equation to represent the context in this problem. So we can say that on the left hand side, we have 2x plus 1, and on the right hand side, we have 5. And since this is we have a balance scale in a balanced state, we can say that left hand side and the right hand side, it should be equal weight. And we use the equal sign to represent anything that are equal value. So we have 2x plus 1 equal to 5. And this is how we represent this context by forming an algebraic equation. In order to solve an algebraic equation, our ultimate goal is to find the value of x, which is the unknown value of these 2 objects. How do we do that? Imagine that we have 2x plus 1 on the left hand side and we have 5 on the right hand side. To make the balance scale equal or balanced, we can take away 1 kilogram from both sides. If we take away 1 kilogram on the left hand side, to make it balanced, we must do the same. We must take away 1 kilogram on the right hand side. Am I right? And this will be the same as when you minus 1 on the left hand side and when you minus 1 on the right hand side. By doing that, on the left hand side, what is left is just 2x. So we have 2x on the left hand side. So we have 2x on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, we have only 4 kg now. So we have 4 on the right hand side. Now from here onwards, we are not done. Our ultimate goal is to find the value of x. How do we do this? So since there are 2x, in order to find just one of them, what do? We divided by 2. So when we divided by 2 on the left hand side to make it balanced, we should do the same thing on the right hand side. So 2 divided by 2, it will be 1. Whatever on the left hand side will be x. And on the right hand side, we have 4 divided by 2, we have 2. From here, you can tell that x is actually 2 kilogram. So I want you to understand that whenever we are solving a linear equation in one variable, our ultimate goal is to keep x or the unknown as the starting, as the object of the equation, as the starting of the equation, by doing the opposite. For example, if you have a plus 1 on the left hand side, when you do the opposite, you will have minus 1 on both sides. When you have a multiply by 2, you do the opposite, we will have divided by 2 on the left hand side. So it's always doing the opposite operation to get the actual value of the unknown. I will show you more example on this. If you have a look on this, our ultimate goal is to find the value of c. Now let's do the opposite process. So when we do the opposite process of plus 1, it will be minus 1. So we have to minus 1 on the left and we have to minus 1 on the right. And you know it well that when you do the opposite of minus 1, you are getting rid of this part, right? It will be just 0. So instead of writing out a minus 1 and minus 1 on the left hand side and the right hand side, you know it well, on the left hand side, this part will be cancelled off. So when we do the opposite, which is minus 1, you cancel off this part, it will be minus 1 on the right hand side to make it balanced. So when we do the working, we will write 9c on the left because this part has been cancelled off, and we have 10 minus 1 on the right hand side to make it balanced, right? So we do the opposite of minus 1 on both sides. So what do we have? So left hand side is 9c, on the right hand side we have 9. And remember, 9c is the same as 9 times c because we know that 9 times c equals to 9c. So there are 9 of them, and you just want to figure out the value of 1c, which is c, you do the opposite. Opposite of multiply by 9 will be divide. So you divide by 9 on the left hand side, you divide by 9 on the right hand side. Then you have c, because you will cancel off these two of the same value. 9 divided by 9 is 1. So we have c equals to 1. And that's the answer for c. Okay, now let's do more of this. Another example of this. Now what do? We do the opposite of minus 5. What is the opposite of minus 5? Plus 5. So when we do that, this part will be cancelled off. So we have 6y on the left hand side, and then we have plus 5 on the right hand side. So 6y equal to 12. To get rid of 6, we do the opposite. Because we know that this is a multiply by 6, when we do the opposite, we divide it by 6 on both sides. So no more, just y alone, and you have 12 divided by 6, which is 2. Alright? Okay, now let's do this as well. Okay, if you have an object over here, this is what you need to find. So we do the opposite, right? So we do the opposite of minus 4. So what is the opposite of minus 4? We have plus 4. So we have 8 plus 4 on the left hand side, and left 3a because this part will be cancelled off and you plus 4. And we have 12 equals to 3a, and you know that this is multiply. We do the opposite, that will be divided by 3. And we have a equals to 4, right again. So the answer of a, it should be 4. One more example to be done. Okay, this one. What do? We do the opposite of plus 9, which is minus 9, cancel off. So we have 11 minus 9 on the right hand side. Left hand side, we have m divided by 5. So m divided by 5 equals to 2. And since this is divided by 5, we do the opposite, which is multiply by 5. So when we do that, we have m alone, because when you do the opposite, this part will be cancelled off. And then on the right hand side, we will have 2 times 5, which is 10. Okay, now let's do one more of this. Again, probably this one. What do? So we do the opposite of divided by 4. Whenever you have a single fraction, we always start with the denominator. So we do the opposite fractions. This is a divided by 4. So we do the opposite of divided by 4. That will be multiplied by 4 and multiplied by 4 on both sides. So this part will be cancelled off. So we have n minus 31 equals to 2 times 4, which is 8. And we do the opposite of minus 31. That will be n equals to 8 plus 31, and n equals to 39. Okay, one more example. Okay, now we have the unknown of t on both sides. So we have to always collect the like term, as in to move to group everything that with the same letter on the same side. So when we do that, what do? We do the opposite of plus 5t. What is the opposite of plus 5t? That will be minus 5t. So we minus 5t on the left hand side, that will be normal, and we minus 5t on the right hand side. So on the left, we have 42. On the right, we have 8t minus 5t. So that will be 3t. To get rid of 3, which is 3 times t, we do the opposite, which is divided by 3. And hence, we have t equals to 14, right again. So we have final answer of t equals to 14. I hope you understand better by now.